The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin, Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business with the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Pollino with BP Media Group.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for listening again this week. This week we have Brent McClain, the Executive Director of Stubblefield Learning Center, one of my favorite organizations that we have here in our area that does so much meaningful work. Let's get into that episode now.
Well, we are thrilled to have you here. Welcome to the podcast. It's your first time on the podcast,
Absolutely,
right?
yes. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Nice.
Welcome.
You know, I don't remember not knowing Brent McClain. Like my whole life,
Right.
we've known each other.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was trying to think. I was like, one of the earliest memories, I remember way back, Clark's, they had the fashion show.
That's right.
Remember that? And we had to walk the runway
we were
for
very
Clark's
cute.
way back in the day.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's fun.
Right.
That's fun. Well, we're excited. You have been at Stubblefield for how long?
This is my 20th year
Yeah,
at
I was going to
Stubblefield.
say you've been there a
Wow.
long time,
Right.
but congratulations.
Well, thank you so
on
much.
the new executive director role there.
Absolutely. It's been 19 years as a teacher there.
Yeah.
And so this is my first year stepping in the role as director. Which kind of gives me a lot of insight into Stubblefield and how everything works pretty much from the ground up.
Yeah.
It's been an exciting challenge, and we're doing great things over there right now.
Oh,
doing
very
some
cool.
really good things.
So for those that are not familiar with Stubblefield, let's give a little background history on that.
Okay. Stubblefield started in 1996 as a dropout and recovery prevention program for Angelina County. At that point in time, I believe the dropout rate was pretty high. It was in the 30-something%. It's 1 out of every 3 kids in Angelina County was dropping out. So the community leaders and some of the superintendents got together to try to figure out a way to save some of the kids. And Stubblefield was the result of that. And so since 96, it's been doing that, working in partnerships with the districts in Angelina County. So we work with Lufkin, Hudson, Central, Diboll, and Zavala. Huntington is the only one because they have Huntington Pride, so they have their own program out there. And we service all of those districts and try to get kids that, for whatever reason, have fallen behind, have gotten in trouble. Life has pretty much caught them too early sometimes for a young adult. The pressures from work, the pressures from family have just caused their education to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And so we offer them a clean slate, a new opportunity, a way that they can work through to get their high school diploma. That's one of the big misconceptions. We still get phone calls daily asking about the GED program. How do we get a GED? But no, Stubblefield is a high school diploma. So the students that come to us receive a high school diploma from the campus from where they reside. It is a foundations plan, so they have to have 22 credits to graduate. So it's just the core things that they have to graduate, and they have to pass their STAR test. And so we offer them a self-paced program that allows them to move through the material at their own speed, because not everybody learns the same way. Not everybody can learn at the same pace. And so we offer them a one-on-one kind of experience with a teacher, a certified teacher that sits down with them. They're subject specific, so we have somebody for math and science, social studies, that's in there working with them and helping them through the program, so that way they can earn their high school diploma. Because at that point in time when they're coming to us, they're not on a path to be able to graduate. Right now, I was just looking at it, we have 31 students already qualified for our January graduation.
Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah. So that's our numbers are up this year. We're doing really well.
And this is all ages.
This
It's
is-
not just high school aged kids.
It's pretty much high school aged kids.
Okay.
So it's usually 16 to 18, 19-year-olds.
Okay.
Is usually where our range is. We don't normally get 15-year-olds because they haven't had a chance to fall behind yet.
Yeah.
They're still going to be on track to graduate, unless some circumstances arise. But I'm not saying we haven't. We do. It's very rare that we get a young one like that.
But do you get older people?
We do get some older people.
Okay.
It's in the past we've gotten a lot more. I think right now we have 2 that are working towards it, trying to get their high school diploma. An older gentleman, he's working online right now. We try to offer them a chance in the afternoon to come in because in the mornings is when we have so many kids there.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of an issue with having a 16-year-old and a 40-year-old
Yeah.
person in the room at the same time. Is
Sure.
But we still offer them a path and still offer them a way to come back and try to earn theirs. Now we try to take a look at it too. We've seen through experience that if they need 5 or more credits at an older age, it's really hard for them to stay for the time that it's going to take in order to get it. It's still going to take them a year or so to come in and get that because more than times than not, they're working.
That's right.
And they can only come in the afternoons, or they can only do some work on the computer at home here and there. And so a lot of times we will work with the Angelina College to set them up to try to go get a GED because it may be faster for them.
Right.
The route to help them be successful may be faster going that route. So we take those individual circumstances into account and kind of have a sit down and talk and see what's going to work out best for them and for Stubblefield.
That's great.
You said something earlier that I want to go back to that for a lot of these students, life catches them early.
Right.
What does that mean? Tell me, kind of elaborate on that.
You know, I was thinking back and I've talked with my staff and some of our friends and you know, I didn't come from, you know, a big wealthy family and all that stuff. But I did not also have to worry about where I was going to sleep that evening, if I was going to have food on the table.
Right.
And a lot of our students face that. The home life sometimes is not very good.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we say that we battle a lot is we can handle, once you walk through those front doors, we've got you. We can handle anything inside those front doors. Once they step out of those front doors, who knows?
Right.
You know, we've had students come in bawling, crying right when they walked in the door because they just got in a fist fight with their mom on the way to school. And then expecting a student to sit down and behave and get work accomplished in a normal classroom setting.
Yeah.
You're
Not
just
gonna
asking.
happen.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
just asking for trouble.
Right.
And that's normally what happens is then they get in trouble and then they feel like they've got a target put on their back and that they can't get that target or that spotlight off of them. And so what we do is we're able to pull them in and we sit down, we talk, we try to calm them down, and then they get to sit down and they can work at their speed. So if they're not having a great day, they may not get a whole lot accomplished that day. But at least we're there, we're working a little bit, and that's okay.
Right.
And they know that you've got their back.
We know that they know
Yeah.
that we've
Right.
got their back.
Yeah.
You know, we try to say we're in your corner. We are, when you come to us, like, we're in your corner now. We're fighting for you, right? You don't have to fight up here. We don't have fights really at Stubblefield. Now, I'm not saying everything's peaches and roses up there all the time.
Right.
However, there's not fights because students are working individually. They're working at their own pace. And we try to tell the students too, if there is a real problem, you just come see us. Let us do the fighting for you.
Yeah.
Because this is, once they come to Stubblefield too, that this is it. You know what I mean? We're pretty much the last chance that they have to get their high school diploma. And so that also keeps a lot of extracurricular and nonsense out of the way too, knowing that this may be the last chance that you got. Because they can't go back to Lufkin, or they can't go back to Hudson, or they can't go back to Diboll or Central. Once they come with us, they have to finish with us.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I love this on 2 fronts. One, I love the acknowledging that there are some students who, like you said, life catches them early. And
Right.
if they don't go get a job at 16 years old, that family is not going to have that source of income.
Absolutely.
And so they have to prioritize that over their education,
Over there.
unfortunately.
And it is, and like I said, and that's life catching them a little bit too early,
Yeah.
for a 16, 17-year-old to be the breadwinner for the family.
Yeah.
We had a student that graduated last year, and I was fighting for her the whole time. But she was 18. She already had a 3-year-old. She was the only person in the house working. She was working at Whataburger at night, working double shifts sometimes, and then trying to come to school and with the kid and all of that. And it just was so hard.
Yeah.
To be able to put all of those things, like I said, it's just so much gets thrown on a lot of their plates. It's overwhelming. And so, like I said, education just takes a back seat at that point in time.
Yeah.
And so, or if, like I said, we've got one that's just come back to us recently, and this is baby number 2. And at 18, 19 years old. And so it's a lot of our students have a lot going on outside of our front doors.
Yeah.
But that's why we try to let them know, when you come in the doors, leave all that behind.
Yeah.
Come in and give us your best, and we'll give you our best in return. And try to work with you and help you achieve the goal. Because a lot of them, we still see a lot of students. They are the first person in their family to graduate from high school. 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just shocking to me.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
It really blows my mind that in today's society and where we are and how far along we've come, and we still, that's still,
I love the opportunity that it creates. So you have 31 people, you said, graduating?
We have 31 on the list right now. I think we'll probably end up around 40.
Wow.
For the next graduation. By the way, it's January 25th at 5
Awesome.
o'clock at the Temple Theater on Angelina College's campus.
Oh, cool.
So if anybody wants to come by and see
And
it,
support,
That's awesome.
absolutely, please
That's
come by and
awesome.
support.
It's a great celebration.
It's a really unique celebration
Yeah,
too.
it is.
I love that.
It's very emotional.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have big speakers that come in and talk and all that. We usually have a few students now that get up and they kind of give a testimony of what they've been through and what they took to get them to accomplish what they
I love that.
had to do, and then we hand them their diplomas and let them get on their way.
It's amazing to me how impactful that is for us as a community. So that's 31, 40, whatever it ends up being, people in our community, kids in our community
Correct.
who would not have had a high school diploma
Would not.
had it not been for the Stubblefield program.
right.
That's a big economic thing for our community,
Correct.
a societal thing 40 people in a town our size.
Well, and
who-
how many graduations a year do you have?
We do 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
So we do
80,
January,
almost,
January
that's
and May, and then so if we're averaging say 75 or so students a year,
Yeah.
up or down sometimes,
Right.
and it varies from year to year. That's 75 people that we would have had in this community that would not be a high school graduate.
and the world changes.
Oh, yeah.
The world that's available to you with a high school diploma and the one they're two different worlds when you
Absolutely.
don't have that. So that's
I remember that comment
So
as a
amazing.
little girl, my mom saying, if you have a high school diploma, this part of the world opens up.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have a college diploma, this opens up. If you get a doctorate, this opens up.
right.
And I always remember that,
Yeah.
and I think, school is not for everybody, but if you can
Right.
just get that high school diploma,
Just get that high school
it's
diploma.
life changing.
It really is, and in the amount of, I think, in time and work that it takes without one to with having a high school diploma, it just, like I said, the doors just open up.
Yeah.
And the other day, the Veterans Day, they had a big celebration out in Huntington, and my wife teaches out at Huntington, and they had the older gentleman that was there that had fought at Iwo Jima.
Yes.
And one of the comments that he had made really stuck with me, and said that, World War II, D-Day broke out. He was still in high school. He signed up, but he stayed and finished his high school diploma and then went and deployed. And he said he could count at least 3 specific times, that his high school diploma saved his life.
Wow.
interesting.
That's amazing.
That's amazing,
yeah.
right?
That's great.
Yeah,
I love
Well,
that.
you've got a new partnership with Legacy Foundation.
we do.
Tell us about that.
Yeah.
So last year, when Mr. Walker was still there, we were able to partner with a company called JFF. It's Jobs for the Future, and we were able to hire a student navigator. It's Mr. Kevin Taylor, and he had worked with the Legacy Foundation before, and we recruited him over as a person to help with students transition from graduation into that next stage of life.
Interesting.
Right? We're really good with working with those students that come over and getting them to graduate. Now, there's always going to be a few that just don't make it, but now we're going to try to take that extra step and connect them to the next part. And whether that be college, or it be a career, or driving a truck, forklift, I mean, beauty school, whatever you want to get into next, military. He works with them hand in hand to help them in that next transition as well.
That's great.
Because a lot of our students, like we said, they don't have the support system behind them.
Right.
And so it's very daunting for them to walk on Angelina College's campus and know where to go, or how to fill out the paperwork. Or if you think about it, even the FAFSA, it's a required now for every high school graduate to have filled out the FAFSA information. Well, part of that is getting the parents have to create an account, right? And they can link it to it, and then it'll pull up their tax information. But for our students, it's to have a parent to go through and do all of that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. So what we try to do is we try to eliminate those barriers. We try to knock them down, and that's what Kevin is out there doing. And Mr. Hamilton, Robert Hamilton, is awesome. He's been with me the whole time.
Robert.
Yeah, he's been there the whole time with me too. He's been there 20 years. And that's what we try to do. We try to help eliminate some of those barriers that these students face. So with the Legacy Foundation, they just got a new partnership with that company, with JFF. And they're going to be awarded a grant through the Department of Labor. And what's going to happen is Stubblefield is going to serve as kind of a pipeline for this program. And this program, what it's going to be is students that are here working with us and working towards their high school diploma. What they will do then, or they'll have the opportunity to then go, after they come to school with us, then go over there to the Legacy Foundation. And the Legacy Foundation will work with them in teaching them a trade or a job, whether it be a apprenticeship, working on their HVAC, or an electrician, or plumbing, and all those fields that we need people to work in. And along with that, so then they will work on that. They'll help train them towards those jobs, or if it's down at AC, it's part of that too. AC is part of the program as well. And then they're also going to be able to pay them like a job. We have students that we lose every year to Pilgrim's Pride, or construction, or Atkinson, right? Because like I said, life, the demands upon them, they feel like they got to go make that money. And so what this does now is, now you don't have to. Now you can stay, get your diploma, get trained, and get paid.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So it's just another incentive.
That's the next level. The Legacy Foundation will be the 5th site in the entire nation to join this program.
That's awesome.
And Stubblefield will serve as part of the main pipeline for that.
That's great.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how can the community support? A lot of that has a lot to do with the success of the program.
Absolutely.
How can people be involved? How can they support it?
Absolutely. So we depend upon the community and the support that we get from different foundations that are around town. The Kurth Foundation pays for our summer school and has given us a grant since I think day one that pays for our summer school program. Our summer school program offers students to come over and catch up. Hudson, Diboll, and Central send all of their kids to us for the summertime program. And so I think one of the ways that the community does support us, we get also from businesses and individual people. We get donations every year from those people, and it goes to help with all kinds of things. Like we've had to replace the roof, or we had to get a new vehicle to help with the transportation. And so it's a wonderful thing. Our board is comprised of the superintendents, and a lot of people, the business people, the former mayor, Bob Brown's the chairman, Mr. Enselman, Mr. Rich. We got Daryl Weaver at Brookshire's, Scott Stubblefield, which is a relative of Beth and Horace, is on the board. Jay Jackson, I mean, you name it. We've got a lot of community members that are involved, and people feel invested in this because, like I said, the school benefits our community. And so if anybody wants to help join with the program that we're trying to set up with the Legacy Foundation, they can contact me. They can contact Mr. Joe Caesar with the Legacy Foundation if they want to be part of this apprenticeship. We're always looking for new ways and new avenues for our students to help them out and give them options, things that they probably have never thought of. Like I said, a lot of times, even just achieving this high school diploma was a dream at one point in time that had kind of diminished.
Sure.
And now we're making that dream come true, and now we're going to also try to help them be successful in the next stage in life, because that makes them successful. It makes their family successful. It makes Stubblefield successful. It makes our community successful. And so it's just it's a really neat program. And I invite anybody that would like to come by and see what we do. Please stop by anytime. Our doors are always open. My phone's always open. Call if you have any questions. Anybody, just come check us out.
We all do a wonderful job, and we're so blessed to have y'all in our community. So
Thank you.
thank you for your passion and your commitment to making kids have a different life and an opportunity to have a different path.
Right,
Thank y'all for all you do.
Yeah. And like I said, we try to always do open. Like I said, we always have an open mind. We try to approach things in a positive manner. That's what we stress that. Mr. Hamilton and I, and with the teachers, every day the students come in, greet them before they leave, say something positive to them. Always say something positive to them, because for a lot of our kids, that's the only positive thing they may hear all day long.
Sure.
It may not. They may not even say anything back, and that's okay. But one day they will.
Yeah.
One day they'll say something, and awesome. It's a pretty unique thing.
Well, thank you so much for what you do. You guys are one of my favorite organizations that we get to chat with. I love the impact that you make, and appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on the show and
absolutely
sharing what you do with us and with everybody
right.
else. And thank you so much for listening wherever you are. If you'll do us a favor and share this episode of the podcast with someone that may find it interesting, it just helps other people in our area find out about it if they haven't already heard about the show, and just lets more people listen in on these stories that we do every single week. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.